This right here is the Franklin Armory CA320. This is an on-roster pistol that's legal to purchase in the state of California. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere. Right now, the demand is super high and it's only Franklin Armory making them. I think they said they can make about 800-900 of these a day. So you will be seeing these more in stores, but what is it? This is a P320 style firearm that is assembled and manufactured by Franklin Armory using all SIG parts other than the frame itself. The serialized firearm is on the inside. It's a single shot, so you can pick these up at any gun store in the state of California because, again, it is on the California handgun roster. The way it works is you put a round in, you go like that, and you shoot. Now, that's not the most exciting, being that it is single shot and that this is what your shooting experience will look like. But let's do a little bit something different. Okay, and I can't really show this part, but you can point the camera at me. And I'm just gonna, yeah, we're just doing something over here. Nothing in particular that YouTube would disagree with. We are not doing anything illegal. No laws are being broken. Doing nothing, pay no attention to anything going on. You have no idea what's happening here. Just fiddling with something completely unrelated to what we were talking about. Okay, so we're gonna go back out to the range now, and we're just gonna do a little bit of shooting. This gun has a physical safety on it, which some people do like. If you don't like the physical safety, the safeties on the 320 style firearms are removable. You just gotta get the parts, look up how to replace it. It's something that you can do on your own. This is workable with any 320 compatible grip, slide, barrel, the works. So since the 320 is so modular, if you have a specific configuration that you're looking for, whether it's compact, full size, something like the Strike Industries PDW, the Flux Raider, there's a whole lot of things that you can do in any other state that you can do in this state. The Flux Raider is a little bit iffy because of the assault weapon ban. We'll see how Benito's rules on that in the near future. But the 320 is super modular, so I can put this SIG 320 slide and barrel onto any frame, like the Wilson Combats that are really nice to get a hold of if you can find them. They're like 50 or 60 bucks, pretty inexpensive. Mags for these guns, not the cheapest. SIG really thinks that they have something special here with their super cool 17 round metal magazines, never been done before, for the low price of $55 typically. Not the easiest to bite the bullet on that one, but it is readily available. This trigger is actually very nice. It's the standard trigger that you would find in the FCU, the Custom Works model, or some of the X series. SIG really needs to get a hold of themselves when it comes to their naming. They have like 700 different models of the P320, but this trigger is one of the nicer ones that you can get with the flat face. Some people like the curved more. If you're into aftermarket triggers, you can swap that out for yourself, but I find no problem with it. If you're worried about drop testing, don't worry. The CA320 was drop tested by the state of California in their private labs, which the labs exist only to make these guns fail. And this gun was drop tested and passed just fine. So for me, I'm not too worried about that. So this mounting system on here, it's there's not a whole lot of information that I've seen readily available, but what's interesting about it is I think it's designed for the Leupold Delta Point Pro cutout, which also works with the SIG Romeo red dots. But there's been reports on the internet of people mounting hollow suns to these, which use the RMR footprint, and it works. It seems to work. I think Rifle Supply also posted photos showing that the hollow suns, as well as the SIG Romeos and the obviously the Leupold Delta Point Pro, all seem to work. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but they've mounted them and they seem to work. This gun, having just irons, gives me the big sad, but at some point I will likely mount a red dot to it. If I do, I'm probably gonna go with one of the SIG red dots just because I don't wanna have to worry about, oh, it technically mounts, but is it mounting the correct way? Who knows? So I wish there was a little bit more documentation readily available about it, but it seems to work with a variety of red dots. Just do your homework and I guess do your own research when it comes to that. Cool, got the far target. Now, it shoots just like a 320. A lot of people talk about the high bore axis, whatever. be a grown adult, just grip the gun. The high bore axis isn't that much of an issue at all. If you are using proper fundamentals, the gun kind of does just come right back to where it is, and inside 30 yards, you can shoot pretty fast. We're shooting at a target, if you want to point that. This is only like 10 yards away, so it's obviously not that hard of a target to hit, but like it's pretty easy to make consistent fast shots because the gun just comes back to where you're aiming if you actually assume that you're using proper fundamentals with your shooting technique. So if you're looking to get a 320 in the state of California, probably one of the best options, being that it is on the handgun roster. It's fairly affordable. I'm not gonna say prices or dollar values on YouTube because they might come into my house and steal all my belongings. I don't know, YouTube's been kind of crazy lately, but the CA320 is in high demand right now. Do not pay jacked up prices over MSRP. Good retailers, I'm seeing them selling for at MSRP or lower, which if you know what that is, it's pretty affordable. Definitely a lot easier to get a hold of than paying $1,500 for an off roster on Cal guns and then having to configure it the way you want it. This comes as kind of like a Glock 19 size with the 3.6 inch barrel, I believe it is. And it's a pretty good size. Mags aren't cheap for this gun. The gun ain't exactly the cheapest, but living in California ain't exactly the cheapest either. So if you're looking for a 320, in the state of California, this is my opinion of the way I would do it in the future. Me owning a couple already, I'm probably not gonna buy another, but this is the way I would recommend someone doing it for the first time. Anyways, let me know what you think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.
I realized that after filming this, I didn't really give you guys a good look at what the actual grip that it comes with looks like. And I wanted to kind of go over just a few common questions that I have that I've seen, as well as just state very clearly, Franklin Armory sent me this firearm for review. So if there's any bias, it's because Franklin has supported me a lot in the past and does a whole lot for the state of California. So let's take a look at this actual grip module. So you'll notice no magazine release. It cannot be modified. If you look at the actual butt plug in here, you can get your finger in there, but there's all these ridges. You are not going to be able to modify this grip in a way that will allow you to make this grip module function as a semi-auto. So if you're looking to do that, understand that the California Department of Justice is a little weird about that on their DOJ website, but what is considered manufacturing versus what they seem to imply is manufacturing are two very different things. So if you want to put a different grip module on your gun, you know, that's up to you. I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but as it comes, it's got cutouts for the safety, which you will need to get unless you want to spend extra money to get the safety delete kit. I think it's not that expensive at all. It doesn't seem like it takes a whole lot of time to replace, but a lot of people do like physical safeties on their guns. The nice thing about the 320 is a lot of them kind of feel like they just took their 226, made it polymer, and made it striker fired. Except the grip angle of a 1911 is kind of what people have been saying. I'm not entirely sure if that's 100% accurate, but people that don't like the Glock grip angles tend to really like the 320s. But this is what it actually looks like. Single round sled. It's actually surprisingly easy to load. If you've ever tried to like load a single round into an AR or some sort of semi-auto, it's a lot less finicky than that. You just drop it in, it goes home, and that's it. Then you open it up, lock the slide to the rear manually, and then you can put a new round in. I found that sometimes the rounds ejected out, sometimes they didn't. It's kind of weird just being the system that it is. I think maybe what was happening to me when the rounds weren't ejecting was maybe the extractor wasn't quite grabbing over it because it's not stripping it from a mag, it's just kind of pushing it from this little sled here. But just something interesting to point out. Yeah, grips are cheap, grips are easy to come by. If you do want to get one with the safety cutouts. The Strike SMC does not have the safety cutouts already there, but it has little notches that you could just, with a Dremel, cut the notches for itself. So just something to note, questions that I figured I would probably end up getting.